What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times.
And your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times.
Alright, we're gonna do something different for y'all today. So this our new segment. It's called Chopping It Up with Mr. Tony 2 times and Miss Tony 2 times. And today we're gonna talk about
how social media is affecting the dynamics between men and women, not just online, but in real life.
Yeah, in this climate we in right now, it's like a real life power struggle between men and women, and we're gonna try to dissect that for y'all today. And on this new segment, we just gonna be discussing certain topics off the internet, just giving y'all our feedback and our opinion.
So I saw this post that was made on social media, and this woman made a very good point in about these viral moments like the Cheesecake Lady or the viral list that's going around where not to take a woman on a first date and much more before it. So let me read to you what the post said. People make up controversial dating takes because they know they're going to go viral and get paid off the interactions. Folks make money off the engagement numbers those posts make and brag about it. Then other folks take these posts to be real and create all this commentary about unrealistic expectations. This misinformation, being so lucrative, really is ruining social media. So from her standpoint, all of these types of posts that set these unrealistic expectations is ruining social media altogether, because I believe from what she's saying that people take these viral moments and these posts for engagements and make it into real life. And I will even go a step further and not just saying ruining social media, interactions on social media, but it's also ruining interactions in real life between men and women.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird climate going on right now, where as though you got certain men that feel like certain women not up to their standards, vice versa. And with the whole list and everything, as far as where you could go at to eat and first dates and stuff like that, it's kind of crazy to me, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, if you feeling somebody, you feeling them.
Right.
Now, if you take social media and a post and apply that to your real life and the type of man or woman you looking for, to me, that's kind of on you.
Right. And there's so many different people with different ways of thinking, different ideologies, even right down to religions, what they believe in, you know, what they feel like a role a man or woman should play. And I also believe sometimes too that a lot of people, ways of thinking, their lifestyle can be demonized, whether a person agrees with it or not. Everyone has a right to be an individual and have their own individual thought, especially being in different places in your life. A 21-year-old is not going to be in the same space as a 35-year-old. Whether it's mindset or financial wise, it's different. So to create a box in social media between men and women and not seeing that, hey, a traditional man might be able to be a traditional man because of the position that he's in life versus a man that's 50-50, he might have to be a 50-50 man because of the position they're in their life.
Right. And at the end of the day, in reality, not on social media, it's not too many people out here, even in their 30s, that's making a certain amount of money. And right now with inflation and the way the world is, sometimes it takes two people just to keep a household going. And like when we first met, I was like 21.
No, you were 23. I was 21.
All right, I was 23, for example. Now, this years ago, you feel me? I'm 36 now, but I was making $8 an hour just coming from prison on work release. So our first real technical date, you could say, was at a Subway.
And it was my idea because I actually really liked Subway. It was always one of my favorite restaurants when we were kids. And that day we were running errands, I believe. and the subway was right across from where we were
on Pulaski Highway.
right.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, he asked me, like, what do you want to eat? And I said Subway. So maybe, I might be the problem to some of these people according to social media. Maybe, they might judge me based off of making the decision to go to Subway. I made that choice.
But at the end of the day, we was like sure enough like rocking with each other and feeling each other. So
right.
It ain't really matter where we was at. It's how we vibed, how we connected. Whether we was chilling at my grandmother's house, whether we was chilling at my apartment, wherever we was at, we made the best out of it. We'd go to the beach, like just little small stuff, because at that point in life, your money ain't always where you want it to be at.
Right.
And even if you do got money, I feel like on a first date, you just getting to know a person. You shouldn't go all out. It shouldn't be like a $1,000, $2,000 date.
Right. And to, add to that, yes, our first official date might have been at Subway, but when things really mattered, like me needing to get around and, you didn't want me to have to ride the bus or, continue to take hacks and things, you said, hey, it's time for you to get a car, and you bought me my first car. So while it might have been a Subway as our first date, like, you did something for me that has never been done anymore, because you saw that as a necessity. You were concerned about my safety, making sure I got to work back and forth. So, you kind of give or take, and I really feel like it's to each his own. And with this conversation, I'm not judging people's expectations. If your expectations isn't my expectations, that's fine. I just hope that we can get to a point where we don't take, like this person said, engagement posts and make it about real life,
Right, because at the end of the day, like, okay, I see a lot of men saying they wouldn't deal with a woman who already has a child by another man, vice versa. But in reality, if you meet somebody 28, 29 years old, they gonna more than likely have at least one child. I'm not saying that's always the case, and I feel like it can get messy, but you got to know who you're dealing with.
Exactly.
We do a lot of stories where these kind of situations go left, but you also got success stories in them situations as well.
Yes.
And as far as just everyday rotation between men and women, I was telling Miss 2 times, I be in the store and I see a man really feeling a woman. You could just tell. As another man, you could tell the vibe, and he'll be scared to approach. And I ain't grew up like that, but it's just the dynamic right now. You got some people feel like women are being too aggressive. Some women feel like a man shouldn't approach if he ain't got this, that, and the third. If he got on a construction hat, he shouldn't approach her.
Right.
So right now it's a crazy vibe, and a lot of it do come from social media and people highlights. People trying to compare their regular life to people highlights.
Yes. Or like engagement posts, because in a real life scenario, a construction worker might be where your expectations are, as far as if you're looking for somebody that's financially stable. Construction workers usually make decent money, but you come in to the gas station or wherever and you look over the construction worker to the person you think is balling because they have on designer or a nice chain, nice shoes, they look a certain type of way. You look over the hard, blue collar working individual and think, oh, they can't serve you the way they need to be served. And that person that you're looking at may be into something that could not, be sustainable, or one day end up behind bars because what they're doing is illegal, So to each his own, I just hope that we can separate our thought process from what's online and come back to living in reality. And sometimes when we do these stories, we notice that there's some type of influence based off of what the internet has to say, especially when we touch on these relationship stories, and it's unfortunate because those ideas and those ideologies that somebody may be listening to from somebody that they're following plays into real life and can cause real damage that's irreversible.
Right. And then like the facts is right now, like marriage, the rate of marriage is super low. Nobody really getting married like that. You know what I mean? Divorce rates super high. You know, it's people that don't even want to be in regular relationships.
Right.
They just want to be single. They want to be a hot girl, or what the dude's saying, they want to be the passport bros. And one thing about that, you feel me? Like you say, I don't knock what nobody do, but a woman is a woman. Yep. No matter where they from.
Yep. No matter race, color, or creed.
Yeah. So you go over here, you thinking you getting something better, then you bring her over here, you glow her up, and she dip off on you. Now you looking crazy. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the dynamic shift to the point everybody is calling somebody something. Right. You can't be too nice as a man because you a simp.
Yep.
You can't be too aggressive as a woman because you are what they
too
call
masculine.
Yeah, you too masculine.
Feminist.
Right. And I mean, you got some women that's submissive, some women got mouths on them. Yes. But it's been like that since the beginning of the time. You got some men that's laid back, some men that's super aggressive.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, I don't really subscribe to a lot of what's going on as far as like the alpha males and you know, dominant females. I just think it's a silver lining that everybody got to come to, and you got to find that person for you.
Right. And I think it's important to, you know, work on yourself too before entering into any relationship. You know, I can't remember who it is I heard say this, but they're like, if you're expecting somebody to do it for you and you can't even afford it for yourself, I mean, it speaks volumes to your entitlement. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to work on yourself individually, even when you come into a relationship. Know yourself, know what you want, and communication is key. Right. Like, it's very important. I remember Mr. Two Times and us, we were discussing the situation where the young lady bought the 48 oysters and the guy like walked out on the bill. And, you know, we were talking about like, if it was just communication about what was going to take place during that day, if that scenario is real, then it would have been an understanding, and he wouldn't have had to walk out and cash Happer for the drinks, because like you said, we were just supposed to be getting drinks, and she was under the impression like, hey, we at a restaurant, we getting a meal. And you know, and I get it, 48 oysters is excessive, but communication, I feel like, could have, you know, solve the problem. Even if they didn't go on a second date after that, it did not have to become a viral moment, in my opinion, or it could have become a teachable moment. Right. You know, instead of us putting men against women constantly. It just feels like that's the thing to do at this point on social media. And I feel like it's trickling into real life situations.
Right. It's definitely trickling down, because even in a relationship, you know, I be watching lives, and I know some people be playing. A man might be talking, he might be discussing something with his woman, and she might say, "Oh, why you so sassy?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like you like sassy. Like, I'm a grown man. You feel me? This is how I feel. This is what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like people holding each other up to certain standards that's really not real.
Hold themselves.
Yeah, ain't nobody perfect. You know, we was talking about the whole far as the oyster thing go. I mean, you got people. I ain't gonna just say women. You got people that will go on a date with you and finesse.
Right.
And if you see a finesse, and he might not have that kind of money, if they already agreed they going to get drinks and they gonna get to know each other, and the bill come back and it's $350, and I thought I was gonna spend $100.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing wrong with that. That's communication.
Yeah.
And as far as like another thing that's been going on, then I'm gonna let you speak about this, because we was talking about this earlier. It's the whole thing with the 50-50. Some people feel like the man should pay all the bills.
Yeah.
Some people feel like it should be 50-50, because how high things is right now and the way the world is going with inflation. Right. What you think about that?
I hate labels and identities to begin with, because I feel like I said, it puts everybody in a category, and it can make people feel insecure about them situations. And I'm not talking about celebrities and what they choose to do, and that's their life. Their problems and our problems is two different things when it comes to regular everyday people. So if a traditional man can afford for his wife to stay home and he could pay all the bills, and she doesn't have to go out and work and bringing something financially, but best believe that that woman still has to bring something to the table as far as maybe taking care of the home, taking care of the children, you know, things of that nature. And a 50-50 man, I don't necessarily believe that is because he's less of a man. You know, I think that's a little condescending to say that a man that's going 50-50 with his significant other is less of a man. I feel like if they both agree that, hey, I'm gonna go 50-50, or hey, you know what, I'm gonna pay the mortgage and this bill and you handle this bill, like that's an arrangement between a couple, a married couple, whatever. Like that's really none of our business.
Right.
You know, what works for somebody else. I don't think it has to be this battle, but I get it. It's for content, it's for engagement.
See, that's the thing about it, though. Like you said, we don't even know if half this stuff for real.
Right.
And people looking at it like, oh, this got 7 million views. This got to be a real situation. And then falls the 50-50 thing. Okay, even if the man do make enough to pay all the bills in the house, but his wife say, I'm going to work because we trying to work towards owning this house.
Right.
We trying to work towards buying land. Like, yeah, you got it to pay the rent, but we try and get properties.
Right.
You know, it's everybody got different expectations on what they got going on in their life and with their lifestyle. And you might meet a good dude that work at Walmart, but he going to college at night to be a lawyer. So if he approach you, you like, nah, I don't want to deal with this dude. And you go deal with somebody you feel like got the bread. But a lot come with that though.
Yeah.
Because when most dudes got bread, you already know how they gonna carry it.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah. And not all, but most in that situation, you know what I mean? So you just have to be willing to say, you know, I don't knock people expectations. What's unrealistic for one person may be realistic for another person, you know? But I just think we have to be really careful that we don't allow social media to warp our judgment in real life and make us ruin relationships between men and women in real life, you know, because like we
really
said,
need each other for
right
real.
And you know, we do these stories and you know, it's heartbreaking to see relationships fall apart or, you know, become toxic or tumultuous, and, you know, children losing their parents. And, you know, it can go from something as simple as a disagreement to somebody losing their life.
Right. And another thing, you know, when you looking on social media, even myself, I catch myself when you scrolling, you seeing all this glamorous stuff and all these glamorous people. Depending on your mindset, you gotta be strong-minded to understand, all right, this my life, this they life.
Right.
If they say this they life, this they life. You enjoy the entertainment and you keep it moving. If I see a girl by her husband, I'm just say hypothetically, a Maybach on that, I'm not gonna put my phone down and look at you and be like, man, why you ain't never buy me no? You feel me?
Right.
Like, because at the end of the day, I don't know their situation.
Yeah.
You see, and I just feel like we need each other as men and women. You know, especially, I mean, every man and woman, but especially black men and women. Because right now, I feel like the divide is crazy. A lot of women feel like they not being protected. A lot of men feel like they can't find a wife because these girls on the internet showing this or that. And I just feel like it's a lot of like in-betweens that people we gotta fill in them gaps and see what the problem is and what's going on. Because like you say, nobody is perfect. You got some men that will, even if he got money, if he see a woman at McDonald's at the cash register working and he like her, he might get in a relationship with her and give her a chance because he feel like he sees something in her. And I feel like that's what it's about. Because sometimes you gotta start from the bottom and grind your way up. And sometimes when you build together, it's on a solid foundation instead of when you meet somebody that already got their foundation solid and you just walking on it.
And I also believe too is, especially if you're at a certain age in life and individually as a woman, you've built your foundation, and as a man, you've built your foundation. Now you can bring that together and create a bigger foundation. You know, I just think sometimes a disconnect kind of happens when, you know, sometimes not everybody is bringing what they need to bring to the table, but they have these high expectations. But you that may not have that foundation, you don't have to bring anything to the table, versus the person that has the foundation has to bring everything to the table. So I just think, like I said, it's so important to understand that there are real men and women out here. And yes, I see the comment sections, and it's hard to believe that not everybody feels like this person, or not everybody thinks like that person. Just go out here and have real, genuine conversations with people, and maybe you'll see that it's not all what it's cracked up to be on the internet and this fight between men and women.
Right. And I feel like you said, for men, if you feeling a young lady, approach her. Chivalry. Hold the door for, talk to her. If she work with you, bring her some lunch. Women, if you feeling a man, y'all get together and y'all figure out, all right, we feeling each other, where we gonna take it from? We ain't gonna look on the internet for advice. We gonna figure out what we need to do. If we work in a call center and we know we make $12 an hour, we know we can get this apartment, we can do this, we can maneuver how we want to maneuver, and we'll grow from there. But at the end of the day, I still think it's possible to find somebody that you vibe with and that's on your level. And even if they not on your level, if y'all like each other, and y'all take it from there.
Right. And I'm going to keep saying it, like, just remember, like that young lady said in the post that I read earlier, these things are for interactions, to go viral. Engagement is that aha moment, like, you got to be kidding me, to start this interaction. So don't take it into real life, and be open to real life communication, and setting the expectations from the beginning, but not bringing somebody down because they don't meet your expectations or your ideologies. And maybe start letting go of these identities that were created on the internet to make you engage. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of Chopping It Up with Mr. and Mrs. Tony Two Times. This was our first episode. So you guys, let us know what you think in the comments about this new limited series. Please give us your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. We would love to hear your feedback on this limited series, and let us know if you'd like us to do more episodes. So thank you guys so much for making it all the way to the end. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony Two Times.
This your boy, Tony Two Times. Love, fam. We out.